Punk should always be chasing this elusive, this WrestleMania dream of his that he has. Like, that's his drive of his character, that he gets this spot, but I think they need to make it's like the worst night of his career. Like, he finally loses to Seth, or he gets fucked somehow, that you made it there, but it was the worst night of your career. Roman and Heyman come out. They sing and sing. Even Heyman gets in on the singing here. And Reigns goes to talk when Seth comes out.
By the way, he's given up on the YTC shirt. It's back.
Oh, was this an OTC shirt?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it had a good run. Rollins explains that we once entered this arena on a helicopter to take out the Old Guard and the Undertaker. We accomplished our mission. Reigns says there is no we. We are dead. He says, I did all the work. I made this place better. I made it $1 billion business. I am the reason 99.9% that this place is better. Rollins says it's that mindset, which is why I still need to screw with you. And you let that snake back in. And now I've got to clean up the mess. So he signs the contract. CM Punk is out last and said, I came here to chew bubblegum and sign a contract. And I'm all out of bubblegum. And he goes to look through the contract, and Reigns directs him to page 4, clause 5, which should be someone's finisher. And he says, he has Heyman inform him, I know what you're looking for. It's in there. And Heyman informs Punk that you are closing the show at WrestleMania. You are a WrestleMania main eventer. And Punk is near tears. Not because of this goal that has been accomplished, but why in God's name did I put so much effort into the Royal Rumble and the Elimination Chamber this year when this was such an easier path to headline WrestleMania? And Rollins is furious. He's so mad he's headlining WrestleMania, because that means Punk is going to get his dream. And he says that headlining WrestleMania is sacred. It means more to me than anything, except for the fact that Punk has never done it, and blames them for giving it to Punk. Punk thanks everyone. Reigns says, you should thank me for making this happen. So Punk gets down on one knee, sarcastically thanks Reigns and signs the contract, but then ends it by stating, but that's not the favor that I'm owed, as the show ends. I've got to say, I think they've gotten a lot of mileage out of this favor. And I think it's like, I just think it's this great device that they have, that people are constantly, like, everyone brings up like what this payoff will be, what this favor is. I'm sure the payoff is going to be great. And I think it's that kind of mystery that keeps you guessing about what that big plot twist is going to be. But, there you have it. They're headlining, presumably night one, we would assume. They did not state that outright.
Yeah, I really like the closing segment here. I thought there was a strong range of performances in all of this, and I felt Punk in particular was excellent, like this and Naomi. If you give me tears, that's a level of acting I just don't expect from a professional wrestler. So I love the way he just looked up at Paul Heyman after Heyman confirmed that main event. It felt very cathartic, I think, if you're somebody who's followed CM Punk's career, because it felt like his decades-long chase had finally, or at least is about to reach its conclusion. And I thought Punk conveyed that really well just with the way he looked. Roman, I thought, was very entertaining, doing his sort of like Goodfellas type of shtick here as the head of the table, wisecracking. Seth had a very important role here. I thought he overdid it just a bit, with the temper tantrum. Again, like that might have been the yellow caution tape of for me in this particular segment, but it wasn't enough to ruin it. Like, again, expectations are pretty low for wrestling level acting, but I think he might have like benefited from dialing it back a little. But overall, would this have been better as like one-on-one feud between some of these participants, not all of the participants, perhaps, but I actually am really enjoying the story that they're telling between the three, and the character dynamics that are taking place between each of them individually. So there's still a bit of mystery at the end, and now we don't know at all what this favor could be, because I think we all assumed it was this. What else could it be?
It's WrestleMania month on the Post Wrestling Cafe, and we are going to have wall-to-wall coverage of the events from Las Vegas beginning Thursday, April 17th. We're going to be doing daily shows on the Post Wrestling Cafe featuring myself, John Cena, and many more of the Post Wrestling staff. Plus, this month, it is 2 editions of Rewind Away as we cover SummerSlam 1997 and a retrospective of Jumbo Tsuruta. All that, plus coverage of New Japan's Sakura Genesis, Windy City Riot, Collision Course, and of course, Daredevil Born Again on MCU Later. PostWrestlingCafe.com, $6 gets you in the door. I really like the idea of Rollins potentially winning this match because I think he's the one that people are not expecting to win this match. And I think the idea that, to me, it's Punk should always be chasing this elusive, this WrestleMania dream of his that he has. Like, that's his drive of his character, that he gets this spot, but I think they need to make it's like the worst night of his career. Like, he finally loses to Seth, or he gets fucked somehow, that you made it there, but it was the worst night of your career. And it gives him a whole next year's story to go right the wrong next year. Because I think if you're doing this, putting Punk in this main event, like, you're giving away a certain chase to Punk, but you can create a new one as well by making this, this humiliating loss, or it's some kind of, like Heyman screws him in some way. I think there's a lot you can play with, and I'm sure that they're going to have this one mapped out really effectively, that Punk doesn't need to win this, but he will be the main character coming out of it.
Yeah, next year it won't just be wanting to main event WrestleMania being his dream. It'll be winning at WrestleMania and closing WrestleMania. Night 2, that might be his dream. Yeah,
he's going to have the awakening, the Chris from LA, arguments aside, he knows Night 2 is the real main event.
Yeah. It's kind of, I mean, they've done similar with Naito, where like Naito's dream isn't just to win at Wrestle Kingdom, it's to do the LIJ fist bump after winning. That's his ultimate dream.
That's it. He needs to do the fist bump in New Orleans next year.
I think Rollins' aim from this point until WrestleMania should be to try to injure Punk at every opportunity. That being sort of like his last ditch effort to try to get Punk out of this main event. So I'm looking forward to it. I would love for them to show me reactions from Jey Uso at this particular news. Like, wouldn't you be rightfully pissed off if you're Jey?
It's my gripe with the segment was just the fact that, like, we're left to believe that like Heyman has the power to invoke this. I guess you can assume like Roman Reigns is that character that does have that power. I just, the last 2 months we have had like these pay-per-views that are all built around, you want to win the big match to headline WrestleMania. And it felt like this was sort of like, this is not the wrong choice to be your show closer. I was just looking for maybe something a bit more, explain it a bit better of where we get there. Because are we to say that, like, your Royal Rumble winner, if it wasn't Roman Reigns, they were never going to headline Mania, because Reigns has that power. He can just headline WrestleMania regardless. Like, why is he even in the match if that's such the case?
Well, I think they have to be a lot more careful with their wording for these WrestleMania and Elimination Chamber matches, where I don't know if they specifically use like the verbiage of the winner gets the main event WrestleMania, or if they simply get a title shot, because you have 4 winners coming out of those particular matches, and
no one will care, though. It's just they get into the hype of it all, and that's
really, in the end, only one of those winners will end up main eventing.
Mm-hmm. I'm very curious as well for next week. They're in Chicago, so obviously, like, Punk should be all over that show, and it makes you wonder, like, this announcement of headlining Mania, like, think of what that reaction would have been in Chicago. So it's like next week should be a big promo set. It should be something, obviously, with the Punk as the central figure next week as well.